Hi, I'm Judy Palac, Associate Professor of Music Education here at Michigan State University. I also direct the Musicians Wellness Team that I founded here to keep our students safe, healthy, and well. That's what I'm going to talk to you about today. Musicians are, in many ways, small muscle athletes. About 85% of us get injured, almost as high a proportion as large muscle athletes. Unlike them, we don't often get carried off the stage on a stretcher, and only one musician that I know of has died of their injury, and that was Lou Lee, who stomped his foot with his conducting staff, got gangrene, and died. Most of our injuries are not nearly that serious, but especially for our students, little aches and pains can impede their progress, can make them uncomfortable, and cause some of them to quit because they don't know what else to do. If you've played sports, you may have had a trainer to help keep you safe and healthy, or the coach served that function. But not so much in music education, in your music classes. So who's responsible for doing this for our students? Well, we are. We are the coaches and trainers. In fact, the governing body for all schools of music in the United States, NASM, says that we now need to inform all of you college students about 4 areas of musical health: vocal health, hearing health, psychological health, and musculoskeletal health. It is this last that I'm going to talk to you about today. Though the sports analogy breaks down at some point, because we are also repetitive motion people, for our purposes, it will be really useful to think of ourselves as coaches and our classrooms and rehearsals as soccer fields. How can we keep our students safe and healthy like they do students on the field? You may want to pause this video and generate some answers to this question yourself. So what can we do? I've come up with a list of things out of my experience. 1, have a physical warm-up and cool-down routine in our classes. 2nd, have the right equipment and have the equipment be in good shape. 3rd, facilitate good body use. 4th, manage the musical workload. And 5th, create a climate of health and safety. Going back to the first one, having a physical warm-up and cool-down routine, it's good to have students do warm-up exercises physically before they start playing. This is different from stretching. It is gentle but fairly quick movements like doing the wave or jumping jacks without your feet or something like that to get the body temperature up and the blood flow going. If we stretch before we're warmed up, Alice Branfenbrenner, one of my mentors in musical health, says that that is like putting a cold rubber band in the freezer, taking it out and stretching it. You get the picture. And there's some research evidence that that's true. Cool downs are stretches, and they should be done in the middle or at the end of the rehearsal or practice when muscles are tight but warm. Number 2, have the right equipment in good shape. Can you imagine little soccer players with adult knee pads running around the field? That's what we ask our kids to do sometimes, our students. String players are lucky because we have fractional sized instruments, but there's almost no piece of equipment in a band, orchestra, choir, or general music classroom that can't be modified to fit a child's needs. Keys can be moved, chin rests can be raised, supports can be put underneath instruments. Fit the instrument to the child, not the other way around. 3, facilitate good body use. And here I'm going to have you do an experiment. I'd like you to sit up straight as your mother taught you. Now, check in with your body. How does that feel? Does that feel mobile and balanced? That's what we want, is mobile and balanced posture. So I'm going to try an alternate method with you. This is a pelvis. And at the bottom of the pelvis are the sits bones. When I am teaching students how to sit in a mobile and balanced fashion, I show them this pelvis and I tell them to sit over their rockers, their sits bones, in a balanced fashion. To do that yourself, you can rock back and forth and forward and back to find your sits bones. Now check in with your body. You're probably sitting fairly tall, and you probably feel a little more relaxed than when you sat up straight. That's just one principle of good body use. I learned that as an Andover educator, and there are several other somatic education techniques, such as Alexander technique and Feldenkrais technique, that will help you to learn how to teach them about their bodies if you so choose. Number 4, manage the musical workload. Take breaks in your rehearsal. A good ratio for healthy people is 5-to-1, 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, and maybe do some movement or stretching during the break. Vary the intensity of your rehearsal and practice. Don't play Tchaikovsky all the time, every day. It's not good for kids' ears either. If you have a hand in planning all states or music festivals, build in movement breaks and distribute rehearsal over the day as much as possible so that students aren't playing for a long time in a row. Last, create a climate of health and safety. Let students know that it's okay to tell you that they're hurt or they need help or they can't feel like they can't play today or sing. Find health care resources for them in the community. The Performing Arts Medicine Association on the web carries a list of references for physicians around the country. If there are no performing arts medicine specialists nearby, sports medicine or rehab doctors can be very helpful. I have to caution you that we are not doctors, so we as teachers cannot diagnose and treat injuries, and we should never do that. In conclusion, music making, with all of its benefits, can be risky to our health. Luckily, most of our musical injuries and aches and pains can be prevented with a little care, with strategies that are easy to implement and not very time-consuming. I hope that the practices I have suggested here for that purpose will help you, as musical coaches, keep your musical athletes safe, healthy, and at peak performance. Thank you.